All right, Stokastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMac coming to you on a Sunday night. We've got a man down. It's me, my grandson, Nick Lepri, Terry T. McBride. He is indisposed. I think he went to the Giants game. I didn't understand his message, but I think he went to the Giants game with a buddy. So could that be at a bar? Could it be at the game? Hell, I don't know. But he deserves a night off because I'm going to have one or two here late in the season when I'm doing some traveling with my wife. But Nick, the resounding theme today, tight ends.
Yes.
Tight ends just across the board. I did not play TJ Hawkinson in my DK cash lineups.
Yeah, TJ Chalkinson, baby.
RIP, baby. I'm done. I think I'm retiring for DK Cash after this. It was painful. 2 touchdowns from him. The Seahawks won. I mean, what's going on here? Cats and dogs living together. It's insane. What did you think about all the tight ends? I mean, Mo Alley Cox had touchdowns. Like every box score I cruised through towards the end of the first games, like had tight ends all over it. What's the deal here?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not even National Tight End Day yet. I think that's next week.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Did you see George Kittle last week announce his school as Tight End University? We love to see that, but he didn't do anything for fantasy, but it was cool.
Fourth Sunday in October, it's National Tight End Day. That will be October 23rd. Circle your calendars, everybody. Circle your calendars. This is going to be a good one. All right, so we've got just a 2-man booth, so we knocked the timing down a little bit on it because there's only going to be 2 opinions instead of 3 on most of this. So we should have some time for questions as well. Nick, on-air meeting. Let's break down the games first, then we'll build some lineups. That's going to be the most important thing. Plus, we won't have Terry bouncing in and out with all the leverage discussion, et cetera. So we'll get to those when we get there. But please do hit that like button. It does help us out tremendously as we battle the YouTube algorithm. We just crested over 80,000 subscribers. That was pretty awesome. I see there's about 500 people in the chat right now. We'll wait for a few more to get here, but get us up to 100 likes. You guys can do it. I'm going to drop team free money, DK $1 head-to-heads Showdown style. I'm not to be retiring from Classic, but I'm going to be playing some Showdown head-to-heads here. Rather give you guys the money than the nameless, faceless people that are out there in the DK world. But we also will talk about No House Advantage tonight. They've got some nice overlay brewing on their contest. If you guys have not yet joined, come in through our link that below us in the description here. That will enable you to get a $50 deposit match on your first deposit. We also have free No House Advantage projections, as well as we've created lineups for you. We ran out a couple hundred there of the best combinations. You can just pick those. They accept CSV uploads. It's a good way to go. Tons of overlay. Last week, I think their main contest only filled 50%. They were giving away 20,000 up top. I didn't look at the one this morning, but we'll talk about the one tonight. But let's talk about the inactives. So we have apparently Chris Godwin and Julio Jones are suited up and active. That's about all the confidence I've got. We, of course, had Julio Jones, who looked good in that first game, Nick. Ended up, shocker, soft tissue injury or tweaked his knee. I forget which. You had Chris Godwin, who, miraculous return from his injury, only to tweak his hamstring. How are you feeling about the health of those two tonight? Scotty Miller is inactive, as is Rashad Perryman, dealing with his own hamstring.
Yeah, honestly, that first week we did this, obviously, that was the game with the Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. I was pretty shocked that Godwin was going to play. I felt like they rushed him back too soon. This time, it feels just about right. It's week number 4, but I'm not going to tell you right now that I'm very confident that he is at 100%, and this is going to be the Chris Godwin that we're used to. That's potentially like a top 5 score if you're talking about main slate in any given week. I do think Julio Jones is going to be just fine as well. It's good to see the Bucs are finally at full health because Tom Brady has not been putting up the best of numbers.
No, Brady has been he's looking a little gaunt, a little haggard. Perhaps there's some off-field things that are going on that have him a little preoccupied as he heads into year 46. He's 45 now. He's getting old. It suddenly happened. Last year, it led the league in attempts, completions, yards, I think touchdowns, pretty much everything. This year, not so much, but he's going to have some options here. I think that's important. The lack of an offensive line or the injuries to the offensive line has really impacted the running game here for Tampa Bay. We'll talk about that a little bit. Brady, of course, has the quick release, so he's still not getting any more sacks than what he normally typically does. But still, that doesn't help him because he's got to go to short routes or throw the ball away. So we'll see about that. On the Kansas City side, Harrison Butker is still not healthy, dealing with an ankle injury. They cut, and I've already forgotten his name, Amendola, the kicker, missed a field goal, missed an extra point in a very close game. Oops. NFL stands for not for long. So he is out. I looked up the guy, and why can't I find my article? I looked up the guy because, no stone unturned. On the front page of Stokastic here, we got a free article breaking down each team by position as well as ranking the player pool. Matthew Wright, Mr. Wright, 1 game for Pittsburgh in the 2020 pandemic season, 7 with Jacksonville last year. He was a 3-year starter for the University of Central Florida. That's all I got on him. He from college to when he first appeared in the league was a couple years. So he's a kicker. This will be his 9th game in the eighth game in the NFL, 9th game in the NFL. We'll see. That was really the only surprise. Not even surprise, but we saw that on Tuesday when he got cut. Any other injuries or anything you want to point out from the jump here?
Yeah, no, it's just kind of funny that his name's Matthew Wright. You already know if he misses, you're going to see some Matthew Wide Wright jokes on Twitter, right? And maybe I'll be the first one to tweet it because I just thought about it before the game even started. But yeah, there's not too much on the side of the Kansas City Chiefs. A very normal game. MVS is going to play. I guess he was really the only guy. That's Marquez Valdez-Scantling that could have potentially missed.
Yeah, and he was I forget, soft tissue injury or something, but he looks like he's going to be okay. So yeah. Most everybody's coming in full strength, yes. Full health, no, but better than what we had seen previously. Still looking like I think the point total is around 47 or so here. It bounced up and down a little bit, but nothing too crazy. We'll see what happens. Last time these two teams faced was, I believe, 2 years ago. It was late November. It was in Tampa Bay, and Mahomes ended up leading the Chiefs to a victory. I think it was 27-24. Not that has bearing on this today, but it felt like these teams had matched up before. But anyway. All righty, we've got from the jump here. We'll get into the analysis, but Sam Pierce, $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Sam. We appreciate that. He says, "Who is your best captain for single entry GPP on DraftKings?" Now we'll build out some lineups. Let's give him one. I'll give a main lineup captain. Who is your tournament captain, or what would you do for single entry?
I would go with Uncle Leonard Fournette. He has promised us that he was going to score a touchdown. Didn't do it last week, but I do think Leonard Fournette's clearly the main guy there. They do want to use Rachaad White a little bit, but it seems like Fournette's the true bell cow. So I would go with him.
All right. I'm going to drop my free article here into YouTube. I break down all the stuff here, all the important things for FanDuel and DraftKings. My number one captain is going to be Mike Evans. I'm okay with everybody returning, but he is likely to be the captain on Team Free Money. Get us up to 100 likes here, and I'll drop those DK head-to-heads in there. But if you feel like rolling the dice against some donkey here, a.k.a. me, who did not play TJ Hawkinson in cash on DraftKings, Team Free Money is alive and well. So for me, it's Evans. my note just says everybody knows the ball's headed his direction. Kansas City is just going to have to stop it. The return of these other guys, albeit dinged up a little bit, and that includes Russell Gage, is going to at least provide some other options the defense has to pay attention to. I suspect we'll see the three of those guys kind of rotating in, in most situations. I don't expect that. I would say Gage probably plays the most snaps of all of them, but I would think like 60, 30, 30 would kind of be my breakdown in some sort of proportion like that. But Gage getting a little bit more. I'm assuming he is the most healthy. He was dealing with a tender hamstring himself, but those other guys, since we haven't seen them since week 1, that could be an issue. All right, let's go from back up to the top here. So we've got Kansas City. This is, always interesting with Andy Reid because, it's Andy Reid. He's very creative, both with his play calling and how he handles the clock at the end of the game. He's got some competition from the Denver coach, Hackett, Nathaniel Hackett these days, but that'll be interesting to see what happens. So let's see. Tampa Bay has the best passing DVOA, the 10th best rushing DVOA. We've got Mahomes. So the Mahomies are going to be in the crowd tonight. How are you feeling about Patrick Mahomes? What would you like to call out here? Do we see some concentrated passes to any one of his receivers, or is he going to keep his word and just spread it around?
Yeah, it seems like all he's doing is spreading it around, except for the games where Travis Kelce obviously goes off. Travis Kelce has finished as a top 5 tight end, I believe, twice out of the first 3 games. He had an incredibly big game, one not so hot game, and then one pretty decent game. Last week was the pretty decent game, 4 for 8 for 58 yards and a score up against the Colts in a game they ultimately lost, but probably shouldn't have lost. I think that at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes' number 1 receiver outside of Travis Kelce is Juju Smith-Schuster, but it's not by a crazy margin, in my opinion.
All right. And again, that's one of those that's not, we're not being overly dramatic by making that claim, but it's a little bit of a surprise because we've had a lot of turnover here, and Juju Smith-Schuster, again, excellent throughout his career from an efficiency standpoint, kind of got lost in the shuffle the last 2 years of where he was at Pittsburgh in a crowded and talented room. So perhaps he did benefit a lot from having Antonio Brown, in the pool next to him at some of these resorts and hotels. Or sorry, I'm off kilter there. Did you see Antonio Brown's adventure?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see Antonio Brown's tweet?
Yeah, that was very funny.
Saying sending a message to all teams that they should, in need of a receiver, should get Antonio Brown because he knows how to handle the D or something to that effect.
Yeah, what a tweet. What a video that was too.
I didn't click on any of those. I was just content to see the little blurred pic. I don't even need more than the thumbnail. Just not going to look. Just not going to look. So with regards to time on the field, routes, etc., of course, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, former Green Bay Packer, he's, could have had a nice, 70, 80 yard touchdown if that would have worked out yesterday or last week. We have Juju, who's obviously filling in a lot of the workload for Tyreek Hill, not the same route tree, but a lot of the volume. And then Travis Kelce, of course, essentially the de facto number 1 wide receiver here. He's continuing to do what we expect from him. He's really hard to count as a tight end other than nominally in that position because he splits out wide so much where he works out of kind of that step back in the slot role. He's not in line very often. We got to the magic word tight ends here, your favorite place here. Getting a little older in age, but still getting it done. How do you feel about Kelce? He's coming in with a pretty lofty price tag on both sides.
Yeah, I still always feel pretty confident when it comes to Travis Kelce. He typically shows up in these primetime games as of recently. I think this matchup is pretty decent for him up against the Bucs. Now, to be honest with you, I think this might end up being a lower scoring, kind of boring game. So I'm not sure we're going to see that crazy boom Travis Kelce 8 for 8 for 130 yards and a touchdown. But I definitely think it is in the realm of possibilities. It is kind of annoying, though, that Mahomes does throw to the other tight ends like Noah Gray or Jody Fortson, however the hell you say that guy's name. He'll just show up out of nowhere.
Yeah, each of them saw a touchdown in week one because, hey, Patrick Mahomes gives the touchdown equity to pretty much anybody that's on the field and is an eligible receiver. So it's interesting you mentioned the point total. Again, I think that the things that we want to remember here, I mean, you want to see the Detroit Seahawks type box score. Oh, would that be so much fun? Yes, it would. However, essentially Tampa Bay is the number one defense based on DVOA. They've got a long history of their defensive scheme being very good. Of course, we have the Tampa 2. Let's ban cover 2. It'd be a nice way to go. But it's going to be a tough one. You also have Andy Reid that's content to run the ball with his players. And it's not like he's going to run a super hurry up offense. So he's not, while Kansas City plays a little faster, I haven't looked at it for the first 3 weeks, but they play a little faster. It's because they get a lot of stops on incompletes or guys going out of bounds. That keeps the clock from running. So, more plays per second. Yes. Are they playing faster? Yes. Are they running up to the line or doing hurry up or no huddle? Not that much, right? So pacing up, a little bit, but it's a function of being a pass first team. You kind of similarly, you would say that with regards to Tampa, except they do run the ball. They run the ball a ton on first down. Yeah. And then they're content to just, what's the phrase? Dick around until they get up to second down, do something stupid. And then you got Tom Brady in the third along with crappy receivers. Hopefully he's got better receivers. The health may not have come with them, but at least he has some options here. So this could lead to a sub 47-point game, I think is where the early line was. I can't remember if that's the early line or the look ahead from a couple of weeks ago. I think it's at 43.5 now. I'll have to go pull that up on OddsShopper. I was looking at some same game parlays before we started because DraftKings doesn't like it when I open the Zoom window and then go in and look at DraftKings Sports.
Yeah, it doesn't. It does not let you do that.
It's not fun, and the phone's too small. Never get old, Nick. Never get old.
Yeah.
As we're working down through, let's talk running backs here because Chiefs running back core, bit of a mess. So Isaiah Pacheco had a couple drives at the end of week one where he got like 60 or 65 yards. That's really been all the work he's gotten. You have Jerick McKinnon, by the way, leads the running backs in snaps and led them each of the first 3 weeks, gets a couple targets, gets a couple carries, but that's it. Better blocker than Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Probably. Does Andy Reid like the veteran? Yeah. But then you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who has, I think, total through the first 3 weeks, I think it's like 107 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Where's the fantasy goodness, Nick? Let's boil this down. Where's the fantasy goodness in the Chiefs running back room?
I still think it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, last week he had the iconic 7 rushes for 0 yards and a touchdown. Congratulations to him, still scoring, I think, 14.9 half PPR points. So he still had a good game, but because he's seeing a lot more targets, he's been getting more targets as the weeks go on. 3 in week 1, 4 in week 2, 5 in week 3. If my model projects this correctly, that's going to be 6 targets this week. So that's going to be great for him. But at the end of the day here, I do think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still the guy. But if you want to follow the snaps, you want to follow the work, then maybe you want to go to Jerick McKinnon. I really think Pacheco's only going to see some type of work if someone is to get hurt or if they are just beating the ever-living shit out of the Bucs. And then Ronald Jones has been, what is he, like a healthy scratch? He's out.
Yeah, he's been inactive every week, which is, I mean, I guess helpful, but they still have plenty of guys to spread the lack of goodness around. So it's been just a little dicey. So last week it was Edwards-Helaire or week 2, he had 74 yards, just 8 carries. Last week, no rushing yards, 7 carries, but he got a touchdown. Tough to do. And then again, McKinnon led the team in snaps each of the first 3 weeks. A little sketchy. You know what's also sketchy? Sky Moore. So Sky Moore, 23 offensive snaps, 8 last week. He fumbled the punt. Looked like he had butterfingers on another one. Now he's under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football. This feels a little scary. Would it shock you if Mecole Hardman or someone else was back there returning punts if he looks a little dicey? I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so we're in the digging deep phase. So between him and Justin Watson, Justin Watson was Tampa Bay for a long time, was he not?
Yeah, it's a revenge game.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years. Revenge game for a guy who gets like 3 snaps and a target every month, I think is about his numbers for his career. It's not a lot.
He's angry.
Yeah, he's angry. Yeah, he's been dealing with the chest injury. So even if he's playing, hard to believe this, but this is just wild. And then the last note I want to say, Mecole Hardman. He is who we thought he was, right? Well, we thought he was going to be good at fantasy. He's not. How many 100-yard games do you think he has in 51 games with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback?
I guess it's probably 4.
One.
Maybe it's some of the playoffs then. I don't know. I feel like he's done that. Like
it may have. That was just I was only looking at regular seasons.
Okay.
But he has had adequate reasonable enough touchdowns considering he's been battling Kelsey and Hill for many of those years. I think that kind of takes us through Kansas City. We got on defensive notes. So Kansas City has 10 sacks this year, just 2 takeaways. But even with their shaky offensive line, Tampa has allowed only half a dozen sacks and 1 interception. The shaky offensive line impacts the running game. Brady takes care of the ball and usually has a good enough release that he's not going to get sacked. We're going to use our little intermission here to remind everybody to go to No House Advantage. Use the link below us, sign in, get through that link, get a $50 deposit match on your first deposit. We're going to talk about their games, but they have 2 forms. They have the traditional parlay, player prop parlay, where you can create a card of 2, 3, 4, or 5 questions. They do 20x on their 5-card question. That's against the house. This is No House Advantage. So they have peer-to-peer prop games. So what they do is they put out about 20, 25 questions for the island games here. And you look at the different players, you see what their props are for rushing or receiving or what have you. And then you choose over or under, assign that a confidence points, 7 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. And then if you are correct, you get those points. Those points compete against your other peers, not the house, your other peers that are choosing from those same questions. Those lines are static. So if somebody gets hurt or is out, they won't move them, right? Much like DK and FanDuel can't change salaries once it's been released, but the people have to play in the game. If you take somebody who's out for their under, it will not count. You will lose that question because they got to play at least once now. All right. Rashad Stacking Pennies, one of my favorite names to appear. Recently, his question is, who is your favorite player under 10% owned to take a chance on? So I'm going to assume DraftKings. Rashad, if this is another one, a penny for your thoughts if this is a FanDuel. But let's look on. So we go to Stokastic here. I'm going to go to NFL top stacks, top showdown, and single game plays. This is normally Terry's shtick, but I will be doing this as well. So if we look at our captains on DK right now, there's only 3 that are more than 10%. It's Leonard Fournette. That's who you liked. Mike Evans, 9.8. That's around 10%. That's who I liked. And then it's both quarterbacks coming in between 11 and 13%. So I would dip down a little bit lower and say, if you don't want to go Mike Evans, and I think you can play Mike Evans without Tom Brady. If you don't want to go Mike Evans, then I think it's Travis Kelce would be the way I would go for the lower owned option. How do you feel about that? And then we'll start talking some Tampa Bay.
Yeah, thank God my computer started running at a correct rate as I went over there. At the beginning, when I was trying to flip to the ownership page, it was running like Zeke, so it was going at like negative speed. My answer here is going to be, I want to be honest, this might sound a little bit crazy, but I kind of like Russell Gage here. I think that if Godwin and Julio aren't fully healthy, we saw Gage have a great game. Now, again, this maybe isn't the safest play, right? I don't think it is at all, but I do think Russell Gage has a ton of upside if Godwin and Julio aren't at full health, because I think that Gage is legitimately a talented player.
All right, so he does have a 7.6% chance of being the optimal DraftKings captain. It is getting you that salary relief. We have the 1.5x multiplier there. That does allow you to do some different things in your flex options, and so that's what gets him into the captain optimal, because he only has a 3.1% chance of being the best scorer. So again, it comes down to salary, and then on DK we've got the multiplier both for your points in captain and for the salary. If we look over on FanDuel, just to round that out, since it was a $9.99 super chat, under 10%. So that it rules out the same four guys. Evans is at 10.5. So Kelsey at 6.3, Juju Smith-Schuster at 10,000. 4.7%. Somewhat intriguing. Are we going to get touchdowns though? That's the challenge on FanDuel, is you really, really need those touchdowns. That's why Leonard Fournette is 21% in the captain, because he is the best chance. I think he has a 62% chance of scoring an anytime touchdown. I believe Mike Evans is around, or that's his rushing. He 51 for his rushing. I think it's 61 overall, and I think Evans is like 54 last I checked for touchdowns. So those were the two highest players.
Gotcha. And Gage on FanDuel only has 1.9% ownership at the MVP spot, which is pretty interesting.
It is. If you're rolling the dice, those 10 free team money lineups are out there. Username EMac. I will be playing Mike Evans in the captain spot. Again, I was the donkey that did not play TJ Hawkinson in cash on the main slate. So go get my lineups. Have some fun there. And if I keep talking and not paying attention, I'm going to run the same lineup in all of my contests. So let's move on here to the Bucs. So Brady, how many touchdown passes do you think Brady has on the year?
On the year? Just want me to guess?
Yep.
I guess like 5.
He has 3, 1 in each game. That's not Tom Terrific. That's Tom Geriatric.
That's terrible Tom.
It's not good. But lost Mike Evans for week 2 for a suspension. Has not had, we mentioned it ad nauseum here, has not had Julio or Godwin since week 1. Rob Gronkowski, obviously in retirement, and Antonio Brown playing with his rubber ducky or something along those lines in some pools. So it's been a little bit tough for him. He is still Tom Terrific. He's not going to give you anything on the ground. Full stop. If you're gonna captain him, the thought would be you probably want to bring along 2 receivers. Because they're gonna outscore him with every touchdown he throws. So you are hoping and with him, he spreads the ball around enough. You're not going to get 2 or 3 to the same guy. So you're hoping you get 2 or 3 amongst the 2 guys that you play with him. Now, of course, it could be anybody. Evans is the main guy, but it could be Fournette, it could be Cameron Brate, it could be the dinged up wide receivers. We don't know, but that's what makes it a little tricky to put him in the multiplier slot tonight, because he does not have that rushing upside, and we can't quite consolidate his touchdowns like we think we can with Mahomes. All we have to do is look back to week 1 and know that, we really can't do that with Mahomes either, but we think we can, at least in this game. How do you feel about, we'll hit the passing game first. Any observations you want to put there for Tom?
Yeah, Tom has just, like you said, not terrific. Now, week 1, I was talking to Aton about this, and I was trying to tell him that I'm going to bet on the Bucs. And then he said that apparently Tom Brady is awful in primetime. He's sleepy Tom Brady. And that was wrong. Tom Brady had a decent game there, and they beat the Cowboys. I am pretty comfortable playing Mike Evans here as the wide receiver. He's my favorite one tonight. And I'm playing against Chris Godwin in all of my fantasy leagues, so I can convince you right now and tell you right now that Chris Godwin's about to score 7,000 points because that's just always what happens. But in reality, for a genuine breakdown, I do think that Julio Jones, based upon what we saw when he was healthy, it did literally look like Julio Jones hopped in the time machine and was playing better. But the question is, we all know, is once Julio Jones gets hurt, is he going to actually be able to stay healthy? Because he might just come back in this game. Now, again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm a doctor. I'm not a meteorologist. Everyone was asking earlier today about the weather. I don't know about the weather. I'm not a weatherman, but I do know about one thing, and that's that Julio Jones always gets hurt after he comes back from injury. So I am definitely worried about that.
All right. You know who could have used a doctor? To attack the level.
Jesus Christ.
You knew it was coming at some point. It was going to get worked in there. I see the tears welling up in your eyes. I know this was looking like a special season, but sometimes it's going to happen. Moving to the running back game. So Rachaad White, yeah, what's going on, buddy? 600 on DraftKings. That's what's going on. He was a near miss in my cash game lineup. Does he get more or less than 2.4 DraftKings points, full PPR?
Less.
Does he get a touch tonight?
Yes, I think he's going to get 1. I'd set the line at 1.5, and I'd go under.
Okay. Now, the reason I bring it up, again, $600 on DraftKings. That does a lot. Definitely. 2 running backs have played this season for Tampa Bay. One of them gets all the touches. The other spells him and gets on the field. And then Tom does other things when that guy's on the field. So it's one of those where we talk about the $200 guy. Hey, if he gets a target, then even if he doesn't catch it, it was worth it. That's kind of Rachaad White tonight. Be prepared for that zero upside. 20% chance he gets more than 5 fantasy points, 15%. Whatever he gets will be a career high.
Definitely.
But he's $600.
He hasn't done anything.
$600. That's the appeal on that one. When we look at him, let's see, he had just 6 snaps last week, no touches or targets. He will get some at some point. I believe I'm blanking on his name. Gio Bernard, I think, is still hurt. So
he's on the IR.
Yeah, it's kind of like, wow. We'll see how much work Lenny can handle. But if anything happens to Lenny, it's going to be Rachaad White with those high value touches. All right, coming back to the wide receiver, no Brashard Perriman. He's out with a hamstring. Scotty Miller inactive. So that means you've got Godwin and Julio returning. Russell Gage playing through a sore tender hammy. I think that means Cole Beasley is active.
He is.
Cole Beasley, I want to say 9 snaps last week, 4 targets, 3 catches. Do you think Cole Beasley gets a target tonight?
Yes, I do. And target.
Just one? Do you think
just a singular? Yeah. He's got hands.
All right.
He's got grit too.
He's got grit. You know what he doesn't have?
What?
Vaccination card that's filled out. Just saying.
That's true.
Just say it. Nothing you don't need that in Tampa, though. We only bring the truth on this show. We only bring the truth. Cameron Brate, let's talk about this. Kyle Rudolph is inactive. I was surprised. He did play in week 3, 9 plays, 1 target. Brate has 11 of the 14 targets through the first 3 weeks. 3,600 for Brate on FanDuel, 65 on FanDuel, 36 on DK. Intriguing. How are you feeling about Cameron Brate? Can we make America Brate again?
Yeah, I tried to talk myself into Cameron Brate. I'm pretty sure the first time we did this, and it didn't work. He had 1 reception on 3 targets for 7 yards, but last week he woke up. It's not National Tight End Day yet, so I don't really see it happening for him. And I'm honestly just still confused and perplexed, as they might say, on why they brought in Kyle Rudolph if he hasn't been active for a single game.
I think he was hurt the first game or 2, maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Not like IR hurt, but I think hurt. Or maybe he's dusty. Perhaps he's got a little bit of that Russ Wilson in him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe come Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer will come play,
It's the holiday season. Holiday season. I love that narrative. Kyle Rudolph. Always good. But back to Brate. I think 3,600 on DK, not really intriguing in the with the multiplier, but I look like I'm coming in a little above the field. We've got him projected for 15%. I'm coming in at about 25. It's just a function of $3,600 and likely better target equity or touch opportunity than Pacheco, than Rachaad White, although you get a $3,000 discount on Rachaad White, but that's kind of where I'm landing on that. And then defenses tonight. Tampa Bay defense, really, really good. Mahomes has only been sacked twice this season. That's not very many. 1 interception, that's not many at all. Tampa Bay has 11 sacks, 5 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. So they do have a chance for a splash play, but this is kind of strength versus strength going against Mahomes. Hard to count on it. hard to count on it. All right. So you want to make some lineups here and then talk some to Hustle Manage and then get on out of here. At 5:15, we have 25 or 5:15 that we have 6:20 tonight. We got plenty of time. We got 30 minutes.
6:20. Real people time, EMac, 8:20.
8:20. All right. Well, I'm making lineups right now, so I'm about to upload them. This is like a record. I'm not
record time
because I realized I had to build everything out before the show tonight because I knew I couldn't have you and Terry just talk about some things because Terry's not here. So
I'm the captain now.
Well, but then so we were getting ready to go on. I remember, Nick does solo shows constantly. Nick also does solo shows. How long did your question and answer show go? We have so much content here at Stokastic. Hit that subscribe button. We just crossed over 80,000 on this YouTube channel. We got 3 other YouTube channels. So Nick's over there on the Stokastic Fantasy Football channel. How long did you go today for your start sit questions?
Yeah, 11:30 a.m. until 1, like right when it locks. So yeah, an hour and a half. I do that all the time. It's not even that difficult. It's just you get blasted with questions, like just from the side, from the back, everywhere.
All right. I hope we're talking about fantasy football questions, because if we're talking about fantasy other questions, that would be, I always pick the wrong one. OnlyFans or fans? OnlyFans. There we go.
Fans only, EMac.
Well, fans only is the one I belong to. Yeah.
Wait, I just want to give a shout out real quick too. In the fair catch, the $250,000 fair catch on DraftKings, someone with your photo came in 6th. Congratulations to MCESCHER, 6th place, $2,500. Shout out to him. Pretty slick. Yeah, tweet that out over to the Stokastic Hall of Fame if you're watching. We'll hook you up. Yeah,
we'll hook you up with something. All right, shall we build some lineups here? FanDuel first.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see. Since Terry's not here, I will let you make the first pick on FanDuel. Let me get into, I'm going to play this in can we get it done before it fills the $3 contest here?
That's what I normally plan.
Who would you like to go with first?
All righty. Let's see here.
I couldn't find the $9 contest, so I'm going with the $3 contest.
Things fill at a rapid rate if you don't hop in early.
I'm just watching the thing look like the gas station spinning numbers. It's like, that's going rather quickly, so we better pick here. You want to go Travis Kelce? You want to go Tom?
That's
Brady?
what I was going to say. Honestly,
Travis
I was
Kelce.
like, we're gonna go Travis Kelce.
All right. So if we are going with Travis Kelce, I don't think we have to go with Patrick Mahomes. The question is, who else do we think could get touchdowns? This, as I scroll down, makes it a little confusing here. We've besmirched the good name of Mecole Hardman. However, I am going to go with Mecole Hardman as our second choice. He is $8,000. He is below the kickers. Well, actually, let's talk this through. Would you go Mecole Hardman or would you go Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
I'd probably go with MVS. I just think he's a better player overall.
Let's go with MVS. But again, let's not put Patrick Mahomes in this lineup. Okay.
No Pat Mahomes.
Your selection. We have 12,500 left.
All right. Shout out to Byron Pringle, who's not playing in this slate. The king of Showdown. He's on the Bears now. Very sad that he's not here.
He's legendary. All
right. We got it, Tyler. We're going to go faster. Is that what you want? No? Okay, whatever. We're going to go with...
I was saying repeat the question like a play call, like run it, like repeat the lineup that we have so far.
Oh, of course. Kelce and MVS. For those following along at home or doing a screen share if they're the producer.
Shout out to Terry. That's Terry. Tyler. Guys, I might be in the old person home with EMac soon. After that.
All right, your selection.
All right, I'm up. So you
Bingo!
Don't go
Oh, sorry.
Bingo.
Sorry. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to my applesauce. Maybe I'll get a little extra cinnamon tonight in the at the old folks home. All right.
Okay. Well,
we goofed around enough. Let's give some picks here.
This is a very serious show. So we're gonna go with. Let's go with Mike Evans.
Okay. I'm fine with
Then we're gonna
that.
have to
And
go a
I
little
see in
bit
chat, somebody's
cheaper.
asking the question, would I go with MVS over Hardman with MVS a little dinged up? That's the one question. You're playing for the big play and hopefully a touchdown at the end of it versus a couple shorter targets and hopefully a mid-range touchdown. $500 difference here. If we need that wiggle room, maybe we'll back off it for that. But I think I kind of want to go with the splash play first. The concern you're asking is my one concern. I have decided to go in more on all of the receivers tonight and less on all of the running backs. I'm playing into there's a lot of Q tags here. Let's see what happens. It is a little bit of inherent risk, but that's okay. We've got 12,250 left. Kelsey, MVS, Mike Evans. How healthy do you think Julio is?
Well, normally when he comes back, he's not the healthiest, but I feel like they also wouldn't rush him back, right? Like if Gage is back they have Cole Beasley and Godwin, like would they rush him back? That's kind of my thought process. I don't know.
I'm voting no, and I think maybe a sore knee can be managed a little bit better on 30 to 40% of the snaps than a hamstring. Right, okay. A hamstring could catch it anytime. So could the knee, but it just seems to me that Julio and hammies. No, thank you. We'll leave that for Dr. Seuss. But let's go Julio here. That's going to leave us 14,000 even.
All right. So
Uncle Lenny's in play. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, I definitely think Uncle Lenny's better. It's crazy that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is averaging more points per game on FanDuel by 5 than Uncle Lenny. But
Lenny hasn't scored a touchdown. That drought ends tonight.
It does. It's playoff Lenny season, but it's not the playoffs.
All right, I'm matching the field on Lenny. The other running backs I'm going under. That's not true. Jerick McKinnon, I'm actually going over on. Not hard to go over on him though, but
definitely not.
All right, let's cruise on over here. Let's see if there's any questions that have come in. Julio always comes from nowhere. He does. Smart MFers don't have the V card. V card means a different thing depending on the context. We're gonna think that means the voucher, the food stamp voucher card, the V card. Let's go on over here to what? I can't troll people. I can do whatever I want. You can never argue with the person who has the microphone. We're going over to FanDuel here, or pardon me, to Yahoo. But they got the $10. All right, I'm putting this in the $10. Okay, so here we went with Kelsey on the other one. I'm going Mike Evans.
Mike Evans, okay.
As the superstar. There are no caveats to this lineup other than we have to come in under the salary cap.
Alrighty, sounds good. So then I am going to go with, who'd you pick? Mike Evans, right?
Mike Evans.
Okay. I was pulling up Yahoo. All right. I will go with, we'll keep this one simple. We'll go with the quarterback. We're going Tom.
Okay.
Old man Tom.
Old man Tom is in there. $19 left per player. We're going to scroll down here to see who we have as the cheapies. Ooh, Jerick McKinnon at 12, MVS at 12, Pacheco at 11, Mecole Hardman. There he is.
All right.
I was waiting for this. This is why we went MVS on the other side. We're going Mecole Hardman here. We're playing for the touchdown. He's the absolute minimum for a reason, but we're going with it. $10. That gives us $24 for each player. That means we could go with like a Fournette, a Godwin or below. You could put in a Kelsey and still get Edwards-Helaire below, or you could go with Patrick Mahomes and go with Julio and below. Your selection.
All right. Since we have Brady, I feel like we need another pass catcher.
Okay.
And I think we're going to go up to Godwin. So we're going to go with Chris Godwin, $23.
All right. That leaves us 26. So the real question becomes, do we go with Uncle Lenny here in a somewhat of an onslaught? That would leave Hardman as our only Tampa Bay player. That makes it a little rough. We can leave a lot of salary on the table, which will give us unique identity. by going with someone, say, like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We would be leaving $9 on the table. For those of you playing along at home, you could then easily bump up Hardman to somebody like Smith-Schuster, though I think realistically, anybody not named Travis Kelce probably has a pretty equal touchdown opportunity amongst MVS, Hardman, and Schuster. They probably all have like a 22% chance or something like that if we go and look at it, meaning it's whack-a-mole time, but that will buy us the differentiation. Or we could complete just the ass whooping and go with the Tampa Bay defense. That feels like a little bit much going against Mahomes. So I think we go with Edwards-Helaire or Juju.
Okay, let's go.
I think it's Edwards-Helaire.
Okay, let's go Edwards-Helaire. I was actually looking at defense. That's what I was going to mention. But since I'm your grandson, we were thinking the same thing.
Yes. Anybody but Mahomes. It'd be anybody but Mahomes or Brady. And you're really starting to say, okay, well, there's a chance we can get some interceptions here. You want to look for defense? I've already locked it in, the interception for Matt Stafford tomorrow. That is a play I'm all over. So we're going to leave $9 on the table. Evans, Brady, Godwin, Tampa. Oh, I clicked on Tampa Bay defense. See, I wanted to do that. We're going Edwards-Helaire and Mecole Hardman. We're leaving $9. A lot of you will probably want to move off of Edwards-Helaire and do something different. If you were doing that, I would probably, to maintain some uniqueness, go with the Tampa Bay defense in this case. Again, we're playing for a touchdown. You're looking at Julio. You're looking at Gage. Gage would probably be my second choice, or Juju Smith-Schuster would be in the mix. All right, so let's put that one in the $10, and then we'll move on over here to FanDuel or to DraftKings. I've dropped in my we got 19 minutes left. I've dropped in my contest, my EMac team free money. If there's any left, you can go grab those in the $1. I'm about to upload my lineup, so let me get to a clean screen here so I don't overwrite this wonderful lineup when we submit it, Nick. But you can select first what you would like to do. Let's not pick Mike Evans, since I already have plenty of Mike Evans in this.
All right, let's go with. Do I have the ownership pulled up still? I do. I don't know. See, I want to go Kelce, but let's see. Kelce is only the fifth highest owned captain. Let's do Kelce.
All right. I like where we're going on this one. We're going to go Kelce. In this one, we're adding Mahomes onto it.
Gotcha. Easy.
All right. You know what? I'm doing a preemptive pick. We're also putting Rachaad White in as our placeholder. We can swap him out when it gets a little closer, but let's give ourselves maximum salary flexibility here. That's our punt. If he gets the proverbial over-under of one opportunity tonight, well, then we lucked out. If he does anything with it, then we're really lucky. But that does give us $7,200 per. That's going to give us a lot of flexibility. We can always swap him out afterwards if we don't like where our build is going.
All right. I'm kind of surprised that Julio is priced more than Russell Gage, if I'm being honest with you. So let's go with Russell Gage, 6,200. Again, he looked really good last week. So.
All right. In that case, I would like to now go with Fournette. We're going to guarantee ourselves all of the backfield touches. That's it. Yeah. I don't know why people would play both of them together. It's a pricing thing. It's a pricing thing. That gives us 5,200 left. That means Mecole Hardman. That means Beasley. Ooh, Jerick McKinnon. He's going to get, you think he gets a touchdown tonight?
He could. I mean, it is a running back lineup we got, so we might as well add him in. He'd be running back 3, baby. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Plus, if he scores, it's probably going to be through the air, and we have Mahomes. So that's kind of the reasoning on that one. And we played Hardman in our last lineup. So if I was only building this one, I think Hardman probably would be the correct play. But mom calling. Hi. She's going to watch this on playback so she can see. I got your call, Mom. I'm on air. All right, let's get that entered. Talk for about 3 minutes here. Let's see if there's any questions. Who are tonight's slate breakers? And I'm going to upload my lineup super quick, and then we will do some prize picks. Pardon me. We will do some no house advantage.
This guy. Okay. But the slate breaker is going to end up being whichever wide receiver on the Chiefs ends up scoring, if it's Mecole Hardman or MVS. So I'm going to go with my call of MVS. I was a big MVS guy in the offseason. I banged the drum for him in best ball drafts. It hasn't worked out thus far, but it is the season's young. The night is still young. It's week 4. And I think he can still break out. So I like MVS. And you got to chase the money sometimes. MVS got a nice contract. Juju got a very small contract.
You know who likes MVS? Lindquist.
I know.
Lindquist went a little hog wild with the MVS as well. Who is your favorite Tampa Bay Buccaneer?
Who's my favorite Tampa Bay Buccaneer? Probably Uncle Lenny, baby. Love Lenny.
I think that's the way we're going to have to go. I'm going to go over. So let's look at some of the props here on No House Advantage. I just downloaded my file. I'm going to copy my stuff over. So we've got, why do I have the 49ers game? We have Mahomes at 261 passing yards, Brady at 265. So again, No House Advantage. We're going to talk about their tournaments because there is a ton of overlay. It's not even half full right now. We're going to want to jump in on that, but we're going to talk about their props real quick. Their props do move. You make cards of 2 through 5, 20x if you get 5 right, 3x I think it's 3x if you get 2 right, 5x if you get 3, and 10 if you get 4. So Mahomes and Brady both around 265 yards. That feels about right. The receiving gets a little more interesting with they're all kind of matched the same, but I like to push over on Kelsey at 68 yards. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I do like the over on Kelsey. I also like the over on Mike Evans. Again, just playing into the narrative. His is set at 68.5. We haven't projected at 69.1. Evans normally does get his bread and butter in fantasy from the touchdowns, right? The guy's a touchdown machine. We saw that catch up against Micah Parsons in week 1. The guy's really good. He also has some hands because he fought Marshawn Lattimore, but I do think that he could easily eclipse like 80 plus yards in this game. So 68.5. It doesn't seem low, obviously. That's a pretty decent line, but I think he goes over.
So you're saying he's throwing hands? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
he's
throwing hands. He's catching hands from Lattimore. Called a suspension, but he's back over 68.5 yards.
What player do you think can completely end the slate and just devastate you? Would that be a Godwin?
It would probably be either Godwin or Cameron Brate. I don't have a lot of Brate. Normally, I'm a big tight end guy, but not tonight.
Let me copy these.
At least for the Bucs. I like Kelsey, obviously.
Yeah, we'll upload, and then let's talk some No House Advantage. No upload.
Keyshawn Vaughn gets some touches. That's going to be bad, too.
Yeah, that is something I am not considering in the slightest. So that would be risky. Okay, so No House Advantage contest is half full. They have a, let's see, $10,000 first prize contest. It's top heavy. It's $15 to get in. Is that what this is? So what you do is you select player competence. So when you go into their contest, you'll see there are 7 slots here where you have a drop down to select a player. Let's have some fun here, Nick. Let's build out a lineup. Do you think anybody's going to throw a pick tonight? I don't think anybody does. So who's your favorite player in tonight's game? Kelsey? Let's look at Kelsey. Kelsey props over under 75.5 receiving yards and 6.5 receptions. Do you like the over or under on either of those?
I would go with the over on receptions.
Okay. And we'll make that our 7-point question. Our 6-point question. We'll pick a different player here. Let's go with Jerick McKinnon, over under 15 receiving yards. I'm going to take the over on that.
Okay, I like that too.
I think it's going to be nip and tuck. I think he has cleared that. He's cleared it in one game. He got 20 something. One game, I think he had 10, and the other, I think he was right around that number. So that feels appropriate. He's probably going to need 3 catches to get there, but he could get there on 1. He could get there on 2. We haven't seen a ton of volume going to the running backs, but I like his chances. He generally plays on the 3rd down, even though Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been scored 2 touchdowns in one game already receiving. He's getting most of his work on the early downs. Unlike Tampa Bay, Kansas City is not contractually obligated to run on 1st down every bleeping time. Juju Smith-Schuster, do you like over 55 receiving yards or over 4.5 receptions?
I'd rather do the receiving yards if we go over.
We'll take the over on that one because I don't want to duplicate anybody. Not that anybody's doing this. I'm picking a random assignment here. Russell Gage, meaning I'm not going straight down in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Russell Gage, 45.5 receiving yards or 4.5 receptions. Ooh.
Seems high, honestly. I mean, I think he's going to have a good game.
Away. I need to stay away. Uncle Lenny, 70 rushing yards. Do you think he gets there?
Oh, man, I hope so. Have you ever seen that video with the little kids like, I hope so? I don't know. You probably never seen that.
For 63, if I remember correctly. We're going to go with the over.
Yeah, he's gotten over once this year, 65 in week 2, kind of close.
All right, Mike. We did Mike Evans. Tom Brady. Tom Brady passing touchdowns, 2.5. Tom Brady interceptions, half. Do you think Brady throws a pick tonight?
Oh, does he even have a pick on the season yet?
Now I want to go look.
I'm gonna pull that up.
One. Yeah,
he's one. You know what? No, he's not gonna throw one tonight because it's prime time. He threw one. Actually, he threw one in prime time last time.
You know who's going to get
might be
one
too
tonight?
bright.
Patrick Mahomes.
That's true.
Patrick Mahomes throws a pick.
I like that.
All right, let's shake this up. We'll put that there. And then, so I got 2 more. We got 9 minutes to go here. This is, again, no house advantage. We're having some fun building this one out. We could just easily go and use the free Osmo projections that are available for no house advantage. We could also go look at the actual lineups that pop up here for no house advantage. You know who's going to get less than 3 passing touchdowns tonight?
Who?
Tom Brady.
Okay, I like that.
So we're going.
I don't like Tom Brady. So
we're throwing that one down. I got one prop left. Cameron Brate is 24 receiving yards for Cameron Brate. Let's take the over.
All right.
We're going to start and we're going to end with a tight end.
Okay.
There we go. Let's lock that one in.
Real quick, there was a super chat. Ashton asked MVS or Wright. I don't think this is going to be a big kicker game.
So I'm actually okay going with Wright in this particular case. I know earlier we talked about the tender lower leg there for MVS. I think Wright is a reasonable kicker. 3-year starter, as I mentioned, at University of Central Florida. He had played 1 game. He's been a fringe practice practice squad guy. He's one of the guys they bring in when they're going to replace a kicker. So he's sort of been on that little circuit. He's on the NFL short list of, there's always around 40 kickers and, 32 jobs, right? So when someone gets hurt, you're like, oh, I remember that guy. I remember that guy. He had 2020 had 1 game with, I think it was Pittsburgh. And then last year, I think he had 7. I don't have my notes up anymore. It was either with the Jags or Carolina. I can't remember which, but this will be his 8th game. Totally acceptable. I'm fine with going that. I would go with Wright. I am above the field. I know on DraftKings. I think I'm coming. I was trying to come in around 30%. I've already uploaded my lineup, so we'll see where we are. I am at I'm 28% on Suckup. I'm only 13% on Wright. The reason that is I didn't change their point per dollar. So the one thing I want to point out with Ryan Suckup, never really tries anything from beyond 50. I believe he's nails from inside of 49. That was one thing I did want to look up. We got 6 minutes left. Let's go Pro Football Reference. Let's look up Ryan Suckup because they have the best page to quickly see who kicks it by. So Suckup is 6 for 6 between 40 and 49 this year. He's 7 of 10 last year, 7 of 9 the year prior to that. He has attempted 4 in the last 4, counting this as a season. So in the last 3 seasons and 3 games, he has attempted 4 from 50 and beyond. He's made 1 of them. His career, he is 21 of 40 from 50. It's not great. Not great, Bob. But he is 96 of 126 from 40 to 49. That's a good percentage. On his career, he's 83%, but if you take out, if you go from 49 and below, he's almost at 90%. So that's where I would go. Oh, and he used to kick for Kansas City.
Ooh, revenge game.
There we go. We like this. Where I see, oops, let me scroll down here. Somebody bless my Cash App so I can get in these $5. No, that we don't beg for money on these things. Ross, we're gonna remove that post.
Yeah, Ross be raging more like Ross be begging.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. Suck up or right. I would go with Suck Up, just because he's the long-term veteran, hands down, for sure. It's all going to come. Who gets the most field goal attempts? Who knows? Because it's field goal attempts. But I would go with Suck Up, only because he is that good from inside 49 yards. They don't bother. They know when they're going to allow him to kick. They know what they need to do to have him be successful, as opposed to some of these guys with these booming legs where they're willing to roll the dice. I like that, especially for a conservative team.
That makes sense.
Mark Dussault says, I hate it, but I'm taking the under. That's probably the way to go. We don't like unders. Who wants to root for unders? Ben Raza, who's very good at sports wagering. Ben Raza. Who wins money at sports wagering? Ben Raza. Would we rather win, or would we rather root for the overs? I think the answer speaks for itself. We'd rather root for the overs.
Definitely.
Oh, good times there. I do want to hat tip, throwing out a little information for our Osmo insiders betting. That was very lucrative, looking at the college wagers yesterday, some totals, some money line round robin parlays, etc. I made a 10-game parlay. 8 of them hit, but I did round robins on all of them. And then it was the last 2 wagers that didn't make it, so I was hedging out on them, and I ended up having a nice little day. Would I have loved to turn $20 into $1,700? Yes. But I was okay, taking cashing those out $50-$60 at a time for a few of them. So I'm up $400 yesterday. That was fun.
Very nice.
Says, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Airdrop. 3 minutes to go. Then I got to call my mom, tell her to. How many years have I been doing these shows? How do you always call me on air? And then what will we say? Love your mom. Because you always be nice to your mom. You always be nice.
That's true. Got to be nice.
Got a Mahomes, Juju in the main lineup with Suck Up. Good luck, everybody. Do we want to hear what my cash lineup was? I do. I'm kind of curious where I landed on that one. Let me see. Mike Evans, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Jerick McKinnon, Wright, and Suck Up. I went with the double kicker lineup. No Tom Terrific. It's just going to have to be that way. It's going to have to be field goals from Suck Up or touchdowns to Mike Evans. And we will just go that route. Left 900 on the table. But again, I was the guy that did not play TJ Hawkinson in cash. I need to self-select out of cash games. That was just, I don't know why I did that. Any final thoughts? We have 2 minutes to go.
All right. My final thoughts are, I don't even know. I do kind of want to bet Tampa Bay in this game. That's something I've been thinking about, but I didn't pull the trigger yet. This season so far, I've only bet on the Dolphins. It's been a very profitable strategy. Not so profitable on Thursday, but on the season, I kind of like the Bucs tonight, I'll be honest.
All right. I want to say thank you to the 19 out of 50 people that allowed me to beat them in cash today on DraftKings. Richie James Jr., 9. Michael Pittman Jr., 6. You know what we shouldn't do? Play juniors. We shouldn't play juniors.
True.
But with that, we're going to get on out of here. We've got a full slate heading into tomorrow. Oh, while we're still here, I do want to remind you, 3 days of NFL free. That program's still coming up, or that promotion still coming up. You can sign in and get you full access to all of the premium content on Stokastic, such as our lineup generator, the player compare tool, player projections, ownership projections, top stacks, boom bust tool, and no more. File that away. You grab that for Monday Night Football, or you can, jump in on that on Thursday, and you get 3 days to check out all of the goods. With that, you can follow Nick on Twitter at Notorious FNTSY. You follow me at EMac DFS. And of course, it is Stokastic_com. Shout out to No House Advantage. Good luck, gamers.
Adios.